All right, this is chapter 14, and in this first video, we are going to look at how to calculate the monthly payment on a mortgage and also how to calculate your payment plus your taxes and your insurance. These are some of your main terms here in the first section of chapter 14. And our first task is going to be using table 14.1. So if you want to find that in your textbook. This table is going to allow us to find our monthly payment on a mortgage. We're going to first look at example 1. Okay. In order for us to figure out the monthly mortgage, these are your steps. So make sure you write these 3 steps down. So the first step is we want to find out the number of $1,000 that's being financed. How many thousands are we financing? We can do that by dividing by 1,000. Then we'll use, for the second step, table 14.1 to locate what we call our table factor. And finally, in step 3, we're going to multiply the number of thousands by the table factor. Okay, all of this is going to give us our monthly payment. Now, calculating your interest that you pay on your mortgage. Total payments. Well, total payments is going to be our monthly payment times the number of years times 12 months. And the reason why is because the number of years times 12 months will give us our number of payments. All right, if we just take that and subtract the amount that's being financed, then we would be able to figure out how much interest is being paid on this loan. Okay, here's our first example. What is the monthly payment and total interest on $50,000 mortgage at 8% for 30 years? So we're going to find monthly payment first, and then we'll come back and find total interest. In order for me to find my monthly payment, I need to figure out how many thousands I'm borrowing. So 50,000 divided by 1,000 is 50. I then go to my 14.1 table and I pull out my table factor, and the table factor is going to be coming from 8% for 30 years. So you use those two numbers, and if you look in table 14.1, we will find our table factor is equal to 7.34. All right, our monthly payment. Equals 50 times 7.34. That comes out to be $367 a month. There's our first answer. All right, now in order for me to find my interest, if I take $367 and multiply it by 30 years and 12 months in each year, this gives me how much I'm going to pay in the end on this mortgage. If you multiply those together, you're going to get $132,120. Okay, so here's how we find interest. You take the $132,120 and you subtract the $50,000 that was borrowed, or we also would call it what was financed, and that gives us $82,120. So I want you to just take a think about this for a second. You borrow $50,000 for a mortgage. For 30 years, you pay your mortgage, but in the end, you actually paid $82,120 extra in interest alone. So your interest was more than what you borrowed. All right, so that's how you use your table 14.1 to find your monthly payment on a mortgage. There is another method that we will use, but not in this video. Now if you would go to your second page at the bottom in your notes, we are going to look at how to calculate your PITI. Here's what that means. Principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. All of those are combined. It's called an escrow account. That way you just make one lump payment, and that payment includes everything involved in your house. Okay, here's how you calculate your PITI. Well, first of all, we're going to need to calculate the principal and interest portion of this payment, okay? This is just your monthly payment. What is the monthly payment? We're going to still use table 14.1. And then you can calculate the estimated taxes and insurance for 1 month. To do that, you will take all of the estimated tax insurance and divide it by 12. The division of 12 is what gives you the monthly payment. Okay, here we go. Lori purchased a home with a mortgage of $87,500 at 7.5% for 30 years. The property taxes are $2,350 per year. Hazardous insurance is $567.48 for a whole year. What is the monthly PITI payment? Well, in order for us to figure this, we need to figure out the payment itself. Let's take $87,500 divided by 1,000. This is how many thousands we have. We need our table factor. So from the table, we're going to go ahead and use our 7.5% at 30 years. And when you look that value up in the table, we should get a table factor of 7. So my monthly payment is going to equal 87.5 times 7, and that is $612.50. Okay, so there's our payment. That's just principal and interest. All right, if I want to figure out how much insurance, I'm going to take the $2,350. I'm going to add the insurance here of $567.48. So that's for the whole year. That's taxes and insurance. Divide by 12. This is going to give me the amount per month. If I divide that by 12, I'm going to get $243.12. Here's how we find our total escrow payment, which is the PITI. PITI is going to be the monthly mortgage payment plus taxes and insurance for 1 month. And my total payment then is $855.62. All right, that is how you calculate your PITI payment. All right, what I would like you to do now is try the 2 try-it questions, both A and C at this time, and in our next video, we will look at another method for calculating a payment. All right, go ahead and pause this video now, do both of these try-its, and then you can check your answer with my results that I will display. All right, both try-its A and B, or A and C, here are your answers, and you can see that I went ahead and I calculated all the parts. I calculated my monthly payment here in part A. I calculated how much I was paying over the course of 25 years, and then the difference to find the interest. On part C, I calculated my monthly payment. I then calculated how much of the taxes and insurance per month, and then finally I added those together. So that's how you do the first part to this section. And the next video that you will see will go ahead and do some amortization on a mortgage.